300-year mystery solved. Spot where Salem witches were hanged. In the 1690s, more than 300 people were accused of being witches in Salem, Massachusetts. It was a crime back then to be a witch. About 20 were put on trial, found guilty, and killed. The first person killed on the morning of June 10, 1692. Her name was Bridget Bishop. In truth, her only crimes probably were gossip and bad behavior, at least by the strict standards of the time. She was taken to a spot near Salem. Her hands were bound behind her back, and she was hanged from a tree. 19 people were hanged on that spot, but until this week, no one knew exactly where it was. A group called the Gallows Hill Project have studied the question. They discovered that the people were killed on a wooded ledge overlooking town. At the time, the spot could have been seen from houses in the village below. It let everyone witness an example of what happens to people who break the law, said Emerson Baker. He is a member of the Gallows Hill Project, the team of researchers that found the spot. The so-called witches were hanged from a gallows, likely a tree. People curious about city's history. These days, the spot overlooks something a little less frightening. It is near Walgreens drugstore. People come to Salem from all over. They want to know where the hangings happened, said Kenneth Glover. He gives tours in Salem. Now Glover can tell them, if he wants to. The city of Salem plans to put a marker on the spot. Officials are also seeking money to clean up the area. They are expecting a flood of tourists to come and look for it. This is part of our history, said Salem Mayor Kimberly Driscoll. This is an opportunity for us to be honest about what took place. Witch trial started in 1692. Salem's witch trial started in January 1692. 2 girls began having strange fits. They were 9-year-old Elizabeth Parris and her 11-year-old cousin Abigail Williams. A doctor said they were victims of witchcraft. Under pressure from officials, the girls blamed 3 Salem women. Before long, a dozen girls began having these fits and accusing witches. Eventually, more than 200 people were called witches. More than 1,000 papers are still around from the Salem witch trials, Baker said, yet none of them say exactly where the hangings happened. Some believe that the men and women were hanged at the top of a hill in Salem. It is now called Gallows Hill, but that hill did not quite fit the old descriptions of it. Modern technology maps the spot. So Baker and the other members of the Gallows Hill Project team began looking through the documents. Their best bet was the spot near the Walgreens, known as Proctor's Ledge. John Proctor was one of the witches killed there. The ledge is about a quarter mile from the modern Gallows Hill. A man named Simon Purley identified the ledge more than 100 years earlier. Purley did not have modern technology, though. There was no way to make sure that his guess was correct. The Gallows Hill Project team went to the ledge with radar, which sends waves into the ground. They also took photos from above. They were able to map out what the ledge would have looked like 300 years ago. It matched the descriptions of Gallows Hill from the time of the witchcraft trials. This time, the team were sure they'd found the right place. The experts have solved the mystery.